Welcome all to another video, Dr. RS and you on science of cosmetics and personal care products. Today, part 55 skin cleansing, toilet soap from soap noodles. Part 54 we saw handmade soaps, and part 55 we will discuss about making soaps from soap noodles. Right? Part 55, skin cleansing toilet soap from soap noodles. Right? Now, soap we saw in the to just for the continuation, we saw this in 54 also. Soap can be defined as a cleansing and emulsifying agent made by action of alkali on triglycerides of oils and fats, or directly made from fatty acids derived from oils and fats. This we saw in 54 also. Oils, triglycerides from oils, these oils are basically vegetable. Fats, they are all animal source. Triglycerides from animal source are fats, and triglycerides from oils, it's oils, right? So this is what in India, I again say, now all the soaps are made from triglycerides from oils. It's a vegetable source. Animal source is banned for use for soaps in India, right? So this is the definition of soap. When you see the chemistry, basically this is the triglyceride. We saw that with sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide is used saponify the esters. Saponification reaction where soap is formed, we discussed extensively in part 54 in handmade soaps. So the byproduct is glycerin, the soap is formed, right? And soap can also be formed by neutralizing fatty acids with sodium hydroxide, soap and water. Why sodium hydroxide is used as an alkali for toilet soap? Sodium hydroxide is used because sodium hydroxide gives the hard soap, right? Potassium hydroxide gives a soft soap. So sodium hydroxide is always used to make toilet soap, hard toilet soaps, right? So this is the reaction. So fatty acids are obtained by hydrolysis at high pressure using water of triglycerides. You get glycerin and fatty acids, right? These fatty acids can also be used to form soap. This is how soap is made. We had a long discussion of this in part 54. For details, you can go to part 54 handmade soaps, and we have explained it in that 54. Now, industrial production of soap, right? This we have to see first, because first the soap is produced. That soap can be directly taken for the toilet soap manufacture, or this soap is made into noodles, and the soap noodles are sold to the toilet soap manufacturers who don't have set up to make soap, industrial soaps. See, this is a very extensive procedure where this is the main reacting vessel. This is the main reacting vessel where the caustic soda, sodium hydroxide, and the vegetable oil is pumped into this, and the saponification happens here. The saponification happens in this vessel, right? This is circulated. The contents are circulated for effective mixing. Then from there, the contents are passed through the cooling chamber where it is cooled to 100 degrees centigrade, right? Then soap stream go to the static separator, okay, where the soap comes at the top and the solution, the lye solution, separates at the bottom. So there it is removed for glycerol recovery. Then the soap is pumped to a wash column. Okay, the wash column the soap is pumped at from the bottom, and the wash lye is pumped from the top. What wash lye contains? Sodium hydroxide solution, that's lye, and salt solution, sodium chloride. You can't wash with water because soap will dissolve in water. So, sodium chloride salt out the excess soap, and lye solution neutralizes any unreacted oils also. So, a combination of sodium hydroxide and sodium chloride, right? It's the wash lye. Okay, the wash lye washes the soap from dirt, right, and from excess glycerin that is in soap. Dirt and excess glycerin from the soap, and the washings are taken for glycerol recovery. Washings are taken for glycerol recovery, right? Then the soap which is light comes at the top is centrifuge, right, where the soap is centrifuged out, and the liquid that is squeezed out of soap is the recycled lye. It is recycled into the wash column, right? The centrifuge soap then taken into the crusher. See what happens in the crusher. In the crusher is steam jacketed, it's heated again, and fatty acids are added in the crusher to neutralize any excess alkali present in the soap. So, it is by pH indicator you see whether the neutralization is complete, and then the neutralization is completed in the crusher. So, here the soap is taken for toilet soap protection or for making noodles. Soap noodle, a typical blend will have 80-20 standard comprising of 80% palm oil and 20% palm kernel oil or coconut oil. While there are other blends available in the market such as 70-30, 60-40, 90-10. But the most common blend used is 80-20 blend, is recognized by the industry as the optimal grade due to its right balance of lather, rate of wear, cleaning ability and hardness. So, 80-20 blend, 80% palm oil and 20% palm kernel oil or coconut oil. That is a blend which is widely used. As we discussed in the handmade soaps, right? In the handmade soaps, we can have the choice of the oil blend which we want to saponify. But here when we use noodles, we are restricted with the supplier specification of the noodles. Mostly 80-20 blend is widely used. 80-20 means 80% palm oil and 20% palm kernel oil or coconut oil. That is a blend widely used. The assessment takes into account that 80-20 soap generally gives a total fatty matter content of 78%. Now we will see the manufacturing procedure of toilet soap from noodles. So, toilet soap from noodles, blending color, perfume and actives with the noodles in a blender, triple roll the contents for intimate mixing and to reduce particle size, plodded and soap extruded. The soap is cut and stamped, right? So now this is the procedure. We will now see a video on a pilot plant scale of, it's a pilot plant scale of how a noodle, soap noodle is converted into soap. The various steps demonstrated in the video. Let us see a pilot plant production of soap from noodles. This is the blender. Okay, this is the blender. So noodles are charged into the blender. This is the soap noodles. Soap noodles are charged into the blender. Soap noodles are charged. So in this they add the color, the perfume, the chelating agents and other actives. Right? Usually the color added is an oil soluble color, so the color is dissolved in the perfume and added, and then tetrasodium EDTA is added as a chelating agent. Right? Why do we require a chelating agent in soap? Soap doesn't foam well in hard water. Hard water is caused by calcium and magnesium salts. Right? Hard water, the soap gets precipitated, doesn't foam well. So chelating agents chelate with calcium and magnesium salt in hard water and make it soft. So soap foams well in the presence if chelating agents are added, because it will foam well even in hard water. That's why chelating agents are necessary in soap. So now it is going to the blended materials are going to the triple roll, okay, to the plodder, where it's the sheets are compressed at high pressure. Actually heat is generated in the plodder, so the plodder is cooled. Right? Plodder has a cooling arrangement. Right? This is a process where the blended materials are again it's again charged into the triple roll. From the triple roll it goes to the plodder. Right? From the plodder it is extruded. See, this is the extruder. So in this extruder here there is a electrical heater where the temperature of the outside the bar which is coming out, it is at 40 to 45 degrees. It gives the temperature gives the surface sheen to the soap. Right? So this is how it comes from the plodder and it's extruded. It compressed and extruded, and this the bars are cut into sizes and then stamped. So what are the various steps? First, it's in the blender. All the ingredients are blended. From the blender to the triple roll, from the triple roll to the plodder. To the plodder it's extruded, compressed and it's extruded, and these bars are cut and stamped. Right? See, it's cut into the size and then stamped. Okay. Now this is a manual process. It's a pilot plant equipment. In industry where production of soap happens, no, all the processes are automated. Right? All the processes are automated. So I thank Rishi Cosmetics. No, I saw in the YouTube. It was very useful. Rishi Cosmetics who supplies this. It was so I could show the different process. Yeah, this is a demonstration where I told you why chelating agents are added. Because chelating agents are added using basically tetrasodium EDTA nowadays, because soap doesn't foam in hard water. Hardness of water is caused by calcium and magnesium salts. Soap is precipitated by the hard water, so it doesn't foam well in hard water. what happens? EDTA chelates with calcium and magnesium ions and makes hard water softer, and so it enables the soap to foam well even in hard water also, right? That is why chelating agents are very important in soaps, right? This is the one. And now grades of soaps. Bureau of Indian Standard has established grades of soap based on the total fatty matter. Grade 1 soap, TFM 76% or more. See, if it has to be 76% or more, almost you have to use, because the noodles, 80-20 noodles, soap noodles, have a TFM of 78 to 80%. Right? Now, you have to use almost 98% of this noodles to get 76% and more of TFM. Right? So, use 98% noodles with adding the other color, chelating agents and all the other ingredients, and then you can make a soap. It's a grade 1 soap. Grade 2 soap, TFM 70 to 76%. Grade 3, TFM 60 to 70%. Less than 60% TFM, you can't name it as toilet soaps. Right? So you have to be very careful when you are exporting to other countries. You have to see what is their grade classification, grade of soap classification. So when you buy the soap, see on the label whether what is the grade of soap which is listed, right? So if it is more than 76% TFM, they would have listed as grade 1 soap, right? Same way grade 2, grade 3. Right? Now, some of these soaps are structured with ingredients like kaolin, right, which additionally act as a scrub. So those soaps might be a grade 2 or grade 3 soap, but they also effectively cleanse with scrubbing action also. So some of them are called structured soap, might be a grade 3 soap or a grade 2 soap. Grade 1 soap with little super fatting, right? Addition of 2% of coconut oil, or it increases the TFM of the soap and also gives the moisturizing benefit, right? So that is how the soaps are classified. And you can see some of the soaps labeled as cleansing bars. Okay, some of the soaps, they will not mention it as soaps. They would have mentioned as cleansing bars. You can see some of these soaps. Those soaps, their TFM is less than 60. But additionally, they have synthetic surfactants in the soap. So now, that is a different type of soaps. Now, this is how soaps are made from noodles, very simple, and the grades of soap made from noodles. You can buy the noodle and make the soap. That is what most of the soap industries do. Or big industries have their soap plant also. They make the soap and directly make the toilet soaps also, right? Very few companies have those facility of making soaps from vegetable oil. They buy the noodle and make into soaps, toilet soaps. Now, I told you cleansing bars. Now, in the next part 56, we will see about what is called sintered bars. Okay, what are sintered bars, right? And then why the evolution of sintered bars, why not soap, from soap how the sintered bars are evolved. And also in the same section we will see a short description on clear soaps, right? Melt and pour soaps. We will see in the next section what are sintered bars, how the sintered bars evolved, what are the advantages of sintered bars, and what are clear soaps, right? And melt and pour soaps, right? So advantages and disadvantages of sintered bars in the next session. Thank you for connecting with me in this section, and we will connect you in the next session soon. Till then, bye. Be happy, be smiling, be safe. Thank you.